Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Something. What else happened this weekend? I'm trying to think of anything else. Did you freak out about
Just
the
the
fight?
end of the first half. Yeah, the fight not starting until 1 a.m. That was fun.
I'm not freaking out.
Not ending, not ending until 2
that
a.m.
part. Somebody you know did fall asleep. Someone you know.
Yeah, my buddy did. Yeah.
I passed out in the 8th round, I believe.
Oh
if I
wow.
remember
Okay. I
correctly.
mean that's not bad. I mean
Yeah,
I
got,
feel like
got a lot right.
I feel like I guess that's interesting. I guess because most people I feel like either didn't make it.
No, I got there. I got there. But I'm an old man. If I'm sitting on the couch for too long, I'm falling asleep. And I watched the Texas A&M Notre Dame game, into that, and then I.
Yeah. See, did I cheat kind of? I dozed off at some point during the A&M Notre Dame.
Okay,
game.
so you
like
got a little
around
bit of a nappy
halftime.
poo.
Yeah.
That
Around
helps.
halftime.
That helps.
Woke up for the fourth quarter and then was in there for the long haul until 2 a.m. for the end of this fight.
That's the way it goes. Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio after a Ravens victory. 2025 Navy football single game tickets are on sale now. Don't miss the exciting home game schedule this year. The games feature exciting American Athletic Conference matchups, including the Commander-in-Chief rival Air Force on Saturday, October 4th. Don't miss all of the exciting action in historic Annapolis at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Get your tickets today at NavySports.com. Go Navy, beat Army. Qadry Ismail joins us in just a couple of minutes. Later on in the program, our friend Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan. We'll talk to them about what they thought of the Ravens' beatdown of the Browns yesterday. If you didn't join us for Project Game Day 1, shame on you. The hell else do you have going on a Sunday afternoon? Like, what's happening in your life? You're out apple picking or something? Come hang out with us after every game all season long. Myself, Rita, KZ. There was no Stecca yesterday. I got questions about that. Got questions. Only shows up when they lose, huh? Got some questions. Our buddy Tyus Bowser, part of the program. You can find it pressboxonline.com/gameday all season long.
What do you call it? Is that a bad weather fan or what is?
It's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like he only wants to complain. When the Ravens win, he's
so credit
like,
KZ even after
Yeah,
wins.
it's true.
He'll face the music during.
And what did he melt? Oh, he melted down about the Browns. He melted down about Mary Kay Cabot. That was what KZ melted down about.
Yeah.
I actually am writing about that today at PressBoxOnline.com. There really isn't like a ton to say. The good, of course, is the play of the defense, which was much better, and obviously the Browns played some role in how much better the defense was than they were in Week 1 against Josh Allen and the Bills. The good is that despite struggling early, the offense did ultimately figure it out, and it's more like team football, right? When the offense wasn't clicking, the defense was making the plays necessary in order to give them better situations and help the offense get going. That's team football, and sometimes the offense needs to do that for the defense, right? Where on a day where it's not working for the defense, or like, say, in the fourth quarter last week when it wasn't working for the defense, then the offense needs to be the one to say, okay, we'll go win the football game. That's team football. That's how it goes. So it was good team football yesterday. And look, we don't think very highly of the Browns, but they do have an outstanding defense. And there's a reason why it took the Ravens a while to get going offensively yesterday, and the Bengals did only score 17 points with a healthy Joe Burrow last week against the Browns. So all of those things are real. And there will be people inevitably who want to poo-poo what occurred yesterday. Oh, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to do that. But it's just not how the world works. You know, the Ravens know that. They lost the Browns a year ago. They lost a Week 2 game at home to an inferior opponent last year. That happens in the NFL. Sometimes you lose games to teams you don't expect to lose to. They didn't do that. They got the job done. They didn't run the ball very well. I'm not terrified. I don't think Derrick Henry hit the wall. I don't think he went from best running back in the world to one fumble means he can't run the ball anymore. I think they faced a tough matchup in a team that was keying against the run, and they adjusted appropriately from there. So I think that's good, because I do think that teams have to be reminded you can't just key against the run, because Lamar Jackson's going to whoop your ass when you do that. And DeAndre Hopkins was phenomenal, and Tez Walker, all he ever does is catch touchdowns, and Tylan Wallace in there making plays. Lots of good. Defensively, of course, the big storylines at inside linebacker, where Roquan Smith played the best game that we've seen him play since, I think, 2023, at least. Maybe longer than that. And Teddye Buchanan has solidified a starting position next to him. And maybe that's a little bit surprising that it's only week 2 and the Ravens made a change, but it worked. They've got their new right inside linebacker. That's a win. There was lots of good. Special teams coming through, making plays. The defense actually getting turnovers a week after they had the opportunity to get turnovers and weren't able to come away with them. These are all good things. Is it predictive? Does it guarantee that the Ravens are back on the path of being the best team or the team to beat in the AFC? I have no idea. Yeah, get another difficult matchup next week against a Lions team that obviously looked dramatically better yesterday than they looked in week 1. The only thing I can keep saying is we'll see. But we don't dismiss it just because the opponent wasn't the Bills. You can only play the Bills once in the regular season. You can judge that when you judge it. You can judge them by the opponent they play next week. They played an opponent yesterday. They did lots of good things. They did other things that weren't quite as great. And, yeah, the thing that happened around the 2-minute warning in the first half, to me, will never be acceptable. I really cannot believe, and it's a bigger problem to me that exists from the congruency of what they do in short situations and fourth down and their decision-making and everything that goes into that. I have plenty of questions about that. But I'm very happy with the Ravens' victory yesterday. I imagine this man's fairly happy with it as well. We'll talk about all of it, of course. Super Bowl 35 champion, WJZ analyst, our buddy, Mr. Qadry Ismail, who I think I just found out I'm working with here in 2 weeks. He's back with us now here on GCR. Qadry, good morning. What's going on, bud? How are you?
Man, I am doing well. The football season is upon us. Week 2 it is here. As quickly as you sit there and talk about OTAs, as quickly as you talk about training camp, and then all of a sudden you blink and you're in week 2 of the season.
And look, there's already a lot that's happened through 2 weeks, and one of those things is the Ravens have already made a change in their starting lineup, which I don't know the last time I've seen that from week 1 to week 2 to make a change the way they did in turning to Teddye Buchanan as their weak side linebacker. That to me was the story of the day yesterday, Qadry. Roquan Smith looked like the guy that showed up here a few years ago. What did you make of what you saw from him? How much do you think was it about having Teddye Buchanan lined up next to him? And is that perhaps predictive moving forward, presuming that Teddye Buchanan is going to continue being the guy after how things went yesterday?
So I think the big picture with football is the term accountability. And in accountability, especially from a defensive standpoint, you're trying to have 11 guys function as one. You will never have all 11. And I've learned this from back in high school. My high school football coach was like, you'll never have 11 guys all on the same page on a given play. There's always going to be some level of breakdown. However, I will tell you this. If you continue to have these breakdowns and you do not address them, then we're going to play some bad football. I always remembered that. Fast forward to today, grown-ass man, sitting here watching the Ravens. Last year, you saw where there was no accountability, and guys pretty much didn't show up the way they needed to. You look at yesterday's game, you look at the week before in Buffalo, you could see where that accountability is like, all right, bet we got to do what we got to do, and there's no more sitting back thinking that everything is okay. I love the way Teddye Buchanan was able to go out there and play and show that he can be relied upon. And I think with that, it relieves a guy like a Roquan Smith who is detailed-oriented, who really wants to, have everybody function the way they need to, because that's winning football. We saw winning football yesterday. Now the goal is to keep it up and keep on doing it against the Lions, and that's going to be the next challenge. That's the biggest, elephant in the room that's coming up, but that's what you're seeing when you look at that weak side linebacker position and the flow over into Roquan Smith's game.
I think it's really well said. That word relieved sort of like it weighs heavy there, right? That like all you have to think about, if I can trust the guy next to me, I only have to think about what I have to do, not about whether or not he's in position.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you look at the bigger picture of the Ravens defense, and it's always been that way. Like if Tony Siragusa and Sam Adams and Rob Burnett don't do their job, Ray Lewis is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to have a great year. We're not talking about the 2000 Ravens defense if Chris McAllister isn't trusting Rod Woodson to do his job. And so it goes on and on and on. And into present day, you see where when you play good football, you're doing your job, I'm doing my job, we're doing it exceptionally well. Hey, it's not going to be perfect, but if we do it the majority of the time, it's going to work out in our favor.
We still, I think there's still questions, and we'll see what the Kyle Van Noy's injury ends up being and how long that keeps him out. There's still questions, Qadry, about how much pass rush this team can get. They did have 9 quarterback hits yesterday. Now, we acknowledge Joe Flacco does not have the mobility of a Josh Allen or really much of anyone, certainly at this point in his career. Do you still have questions about the edge rush, or do you believe they have enough of the pieces that's going to continue to come as the season goes along?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because you're right. They're not sitting there going to face Josh Allen every single week. But they are going to face some upper-tier quarterbacks in the coming weeks. Now, those upper-tier quarterbacks, again, are not Josh Allen. Jared Goff,
Pat Mahomes,
Matthew Stafford, Pat Mahomes are the 3 that you look at and say, okay, there are going to be some dudes that are going to be able to get the ball out of their hands. They're going to be able to maneuver in the pocket. They're going to be able to identify where pressure is coming from. I don't know. I don't know if, what we saw yesterday was just because you're a division opponent with a 40-year-old quarterback. Not that I'm saying, Dylan Gabriel was going up against a defense that had its hair on fire. Clearly it's okay, look, I'm not trying to get hurt. I'm also not trying to sit there and give him everything. And yet you gave him everything and he goes down the field and scores. He kind of dinked and dunked his way down the field. So, what are we saying? Are we saying that, next time out it's going to be that way? for this ball club. In other words, when Matthew Stafford is like, y'all think I'm sitting there going to be a sucker. No, I'm getting the ball out of my hands.
Right.
And I'm going to have some dudes that are going to get the rock and they're going to do something with it. That's what we're looking at when I look at the defense in the upcoming weeks.
He is Qadry Ismail. He's with us here on GCR. Qadry, on the other side of the ball, the receivers, the nondescript receivers, right? Tylan Wallace catching a touchdown yesterday. Tez Walker, all he does is catch touchdowns. Someone might say this is a good problem to have. I don't even know that you can register as a problem. Like, to me, I think this is an argument with take no disrespect to, present company, that, like, this might be the deepest wide receiver room the Baltimore Ravens have ever had.
Oh, brother. Why do we always be comparing to other years and eras? Oh, it's the best offensive line ever. Oh, it's the best defensive line ever. Oh, it's the best receiving core ever. Oh, man, well, let's compare Jamal Lewis to Derrick Henry. Oh, let's compare, when it comes to what this team is, you have a deep receiving room, and I greatly appreciate Tez Walker. I greatly appreciate Tylan Wallace. You know what? If I'm sitting there and I'm Joe Flacco, he ain't giving a Rip Van Winkle whether or not if it's Tylan and these guys, because Sammy Watkins ain't coming through that door. Deshaun Jackson ain't coming through that door. He don't care who was his other guys. Nelson Aguilar had his run here as well. They all did what they did. It's just now. It's about now. And that phrase now means that, yes, Tylan Wallace, when he had his opportunity, produced. Yes, when Tez Walker had his opportunity, 3 catches, I'm throwing you 3 passes, bro. What are you going to do with those 3 passes?
All 3.
And I'm just going to sit there and watch you. Oh, you going to score with it? Good. Then I'll throw you some more. Okay, great. You know what? Todd Monken is probably sitting there like, all right, great, cool. We'll see what we can do for moving forward, because I know one thing, Cleveland Browns is like, who's been killing us? Mark Andrews has been killing us.
Yeah, take him away.
Yeah, that dude, on lockdown. We're going to find somebody else to kill us, but we ain't going to have that dude kill us. And sure enough, you saw Zay Flowers with his 11 targets, and you saw the supplementalness of DeAndre Hopkins, as well as Tylan Wallace, and as well as Tez Walker.
It's wonderful, right? Like, it's just wonderful to have that depth. And to your point, that when they do key in on the run game, when they do key in on Mark Andrews and say, we're not going to let those best guys beat us, the Ravens say, okay, cool, we've got other guys, and they can go beat you. I wanted to get your thoughts on the end of the first half. And is there any thought in your mind that maybe the Ravens, it's 4th and inches, they're on their own 13-yard line. It seems crazy that you would ever go for it, but it also seems crazy to me that you would ever sign up for taking a 5-yard penalty and punting from your own 8 and kind of putting them in field goal range almost to begin with, as they got the ball at the 47. What did you make of that sequence, particularly on the heels of what we saw with the 4th down decision last week?
I mean, John Harbaugh and his analytics guys they just do what they do, we're not them. And I think if you haven't heard oh God, dang it, Glenn, why are you asking me these dumb questions?
I get it. They won 41-17. I understand.
Listen. Let me go ahead and get this off my chest, because you understand, I understand, but the people that be listening, they don't understand, and they take stuff and they spin it. So what I'm saying is that I am not in that room with John and his analytics guys to say, hey, this is why we are going to do this. And those decisions, we are sitting there, whether we're in the press box or whether we are sitting there in the stands, and we have our thoughts and they got their thoughts. Our thoughts don't really matter, because their thoughts, if they don't execute it, they get the penalty. So they're going to live with what they're going to live with. I don't know why they did what they did, but they felt they did it. And that's because I saw it. I saw it with the Buffalo game, but I've seen it. We've seen it throughout John's tenure. So it's not like this is anything new.
I am confused by the congruency of it, Qadry. That's the only thing I would say, right? That, like, when are you going to be the aggressive team? When are you going to be that's the part that, like, and again, it didn't matter yesterday. It might have mattered against Buffalo. I don't know. I guess that's and does that matter to a locker room to, like, know, do you want to be the team that constantly says, we're just going to go, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to live with that, whatever the consequences are?
It's similar to the brotherly shove, tush push, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
It's in that regards of like, all right, we know we got this play. We know you can't stop it, and we're going to do it regardless of where we're at because we know this is what we're hanging our hat on. And I just don't think they have here's who we are, this is our identity. We're going to, live and learn and love it, and off we go. So that's what they do. And okay, you're the one that's in the arena. We sit back and we observe. And when it doesn't work, we're going to make sure we observe and let you know.
That's what we do, and thankfully I don't have to dig ditches for a living. Instead, I get to do that. Thankfully, that's the case. All right, so I just found out that I'm working with you next Friday night. So what do I have to bring? Like, no, you don't eat anything unhealthy, so I don't have to. This isn't like a football team where I have to bring the Popeyes for the flight or anything like that, right?
Oh, wait a minute. You are in the booth for the Ravens game?
Yeah, I'm filling in for Booker next Friday night.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I'm going to let you know this, bro. Like, just between me and you, nobody else is listening.
Yeah.
Just you and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ultimate game of ping pong. Don't overtalk. Don't sit there and try to be ha-ha funny. This is really cool quality high school football.
Uh-huh.
Whatever notes and things you want to bring, you bring an extra copy so I'm on the same page with you. And when it's time to have fun, we have fun. And when we try to lay out and let the game happen, we lay out and let the game happen. Okay? Not going to have the high school, not coaches, but the parents and people get on me because of you. Okay?
Wait,
all right, there it is.
See, now you're acting like I've never called a game before. Now you're going that.
No. You and I have not played together in the booth
That's
that they
true.
call broadcasting. There's a difference.
That's true.
It's not that you don't have any experience. I just have not had the experience to have the experience with the experiencing elements of Glenn Clark.
But I've also known you for decades. Like, I've literally caddied for you in a round of golf before. I feel like perhaps our chemistry might come through in this situation.
It might or it might not. I have to prepare for both. See, John Harbaugh on analytics and like, oh, yeah, they know each other. They're fine. I don't do all that analytics.
Yeah.
I go by like, this is my expectation, and we are going to match said expectation. So then, therefore, when YouTube, which lives forever, and those parents and those kids are sitting there, we ain't getting any text messages and emails and all the other things and saying, what the heck were y'all doing? See, we ain't doing that. They're going to be like, oh, my God, you guys are so awesome. That was great. Wow. See, that's what we're trying to do. Excellent, brother.
I'm sensing that Qadry is worried that he's Roquan Smith and I'm not quite Teddye Buchanan, is, I think, what he's expressing.
It's called Trenton Simpson. We gave you a chance. Now he is in.
At I am Qadry Ismail. Remind everybody about missile training, brother.
Yes, missiletraining.com is where you can interact with me for all your sports performance, human movement needs. Doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the sport. If you're an individual or if you're team training, holla at your boy at missiletraining.com.
Love you, brother. I'll see you next Friday night. Thank you, pal.
Oh, man, let's do it.
It's Qadry Ismail, Super Bowl champion. What is he worried about? My God. The man doesn't know professionalism until he works with. Well, all right, maybe that's not true. Maybe that part is a little bit much. I'm a bit concerned by the way he was speaking to me.
It sounds like you're not as concerned as he is.
It seems like he doesn't realize he's got a professional.
Right. Well, I guess
Feels like what he's
you're
worried
just
about.
You're gonna have to deliver. Make sure, leave no doubt afterwards.
Feels like what he.
You have to earn your respect here.
I don't understand that. Professional. You know, again, I'm nitpicking when we talk about some of these things. Like what happened before the half. I'll never understand what happened before the half. I'll never understand that. With the only caveat being that I think in their heart of hearts, they genuinely believed they were going to get the Browns to jump. Because it would be badass insane to line up to go for it if you weren't intending to go for it and take a penalty that would move you back to the 8-yard line. You're almost like playing chess in that moment. Well, the Browns can't possibly think you're going to do that, so they definitely think that you're going to go for it, and we had seen already a couple of times that they had been a little aggressive, particularly Myles Garrett. So, like, the only thing I can give them is that I think they actually believe that might work. But what? The result can't ever be that you're moving yourself 5 yards back to punt. And it's weird because in a lot of in like the middle of the field, if you're on your own 47 and you're doing the try to draw them off sides gimmick, I would always say just take the penalty, don't waste a timeout, right? Like, don't do that. But that's because punting from your own 47 or your own 42 isn't dramatically different. Some would argue it might be better to punt from your own 42, right? You never take the timeout there. You take the penalty. You don't want to take a timeout in that spot because you're thinking about the possibility of getting the ball back, but you're limiting your chances of getting the ball back by giving them the ball at the 47-yard line. And I get it. They still had the opportunity to get off the field on a 3rd and long. They just didn't. It's goofy. And part of it is your punter's not very good. Like, maybe I would feel differently about this if Sam Cook was still your punter in his prime and, like, that dude just flips football fields. He can go into his golf bag and come up with whatever.
Or you had a guy, it wasn't even Sam Cook, or a guy that just had a massive leg and maybe, you know.
Right. You just said, dude, just kick the ball 70 yards and
Right.
we'll go from there. But you don't. I don't know. I think Jordan Stout's capable of it, and, like, I guess we've seen it, but to count on it, I don't know what evidence that's based off of. Why in the world are you taking a 5-yard penalty to put yourself back to the 8? And again, I get it. The Ravens won going away. They won by 24, and that's with some window dressing at the end that made it look closer than it was.
But at this point, it was 10-0.
Correct. Again, I think the argument is much. Last week we were comparing the Bills thing to the Chargers game from last year. This is almost a direct compare. This is almost carbon copy to the situation they were in the Chargers game last year. With the only difference being the Browns' defense is better than the Chargers' defense. So if you weren't going to go for it, if there was no thought to going for it, just punt the ball, man. Just punt the ball from the 13. Just stop. Punting from the 8. It really is crazy to me that when you started this process, and part of it is just being sharper in the moment. I wanted to remember how much time there was on the clock. I was going to look at it last night. After the previous play, man, I have to go back and look. But I want to say there was something like 2:13 remaining, maybe even closer to 2:20 remaining after the previous play. And so you had the ability to, if you wanted, there was there was 2:58 off the previous play. The previous play was run at 2:58 on the clock. You had the ability there, 4th and 1, to have told the guys, to have talked this through ahead of time and said, hey, if we're in this spot, then what we need to do is quickly line up like we're going to go for it and see if we can draw them off sides before the 2-minute warning. That, to me, is what well-coached teams are prepared to do. Griffin's about to look at it. This is the 2-yard game that came up short, and there was some debate about whether Mark Andrews got it, but I do think they marked it down right. How much time? 250. 250. Remember, because of the confusion about whether or not it was a first down, that's the reason why there was a play clock reset. They had 50 seconds to say, hey, maybe go line up and try to draw them off sides before the 2-minute warning. And I get it. Again, in this game, I got to take a break. Yeah. In this game of chess, there's an argument for, well, if we had done it on the other side of the 2-minute warning, then they're going to expect that we're not actually going for it and it's not going to work. Understand, but the bad here is the 5-yard penalty. That part can't happen. You're not good enough in the punting department to sign up for that. So if you want to play this game, you play the game. If the result is they don't jump, we go for it.
Right.
Otherwise, you just need to punt. Just got to punt there.
And it makes no sense to why not rush the line, try to run a play here.
That's what exactly.
And you get a look. You get
what
a look.
Exactly
if you're not
going to
run a play, at least get a look at what the defense and maybe then maybe you do see something and you want to run a play on the
maybe
other side
they call a timeout, right? Maybe they call a timeout because they're caught off guard by you lining up to go for it. Now you're still on the other side of the 2-minute warning, and if you line up again, perhaps you can still get them to jump off sides. I don't know, but you can't do that. We'll talk to Cordell Woodland about that and more on the other side as we continue along on a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantopoulos family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
2025 Navy football single game tickets are on sale now. Don't miss the exciting home game schedule this year. The games feature exciting American Athletic Conference matchups, including the Commander-in-Chief rival Air Force on Saturday, October 4th. Don't miss all of the exciting action in historic Annapolis at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, and get your tickets today at NavySports.com. Go Navy! Beat Army!
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolko profiles Ravens running back Derrick Henry and how the football legend has proven to be a unicorn at the position with the success that he's found after the age of 30. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg looks at Kobe Mayo's push to find rhythm at the big league level. And we mark the start of the college football season by meeting players from all 4 FBS and FCS programs throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson. They're going to be talking baseball with you coming up today at 5 o'clock, and they will discuss what perhaps this general manager search is going to look like. We saw another name that was already taken out of the equation over the weekend. I think the Cubs scouting director said thanks but no thanks, which kind of feels like maybe it tells you something about what people think this job is under Mike Elias, but I'll let them discuss it. 5 o'clock today, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. As always, Stan Shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium. Of course, he covers the Orioles, but also the Baltimore Ravens for the Fan. He is our friend Cordell Woodland, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Not bad, man. Thanks for having me.
Cordell, I don't like people want to be dismissive. Hey, yeah, sure, great, you beat the Browns. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I never know what to say in moments like this, right? Like the Ravens played well. They did what they needed to do. This is the evidence that we have. We can't react to games that they haven't played. We'll react to that next Monday. I don't know how anybody can really be all that down on what they saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's a week-to-week league, and every game in the grand scheme of things, they do matter until they don't. And for the Ravens, they're unfortunately one of those teams where the regular season games don't matter until they lose them. And especially when it's the Browns in town, it's like you're supposed to do that. And in theory, they are, but it's football. That's why they play the games. And it's a divisional opponent. And it's a team that that has beaten them, in the past, including last year in Cleveland, where the Ravens were supposed to stomp them, and they didn't. The first half was murky. It was good to see them kind of adjust on the fly offensively, realize that the run game wasn't there for them really at all yesterday. But definitely in the first half, the run game was non-existent. And in the second half, you saw them make more of a concerted effort to set things up with the passing game, and Lamar did a really good job of distributing the ball. You got 2 touchdowns for Tez Walker, a touchdown for Tylan Wallace, a touchdown for DeAndre Hopkins. These are guys, and D-Hop, of course, is a Hall of Famer, but these aren't guys that's at the top of the Browns' scouting report when they're looking at the Ravens' offense. So good on the Ravens for, attacking guys that maybe were in a blind spot for that defense. But, yeah, you got to take yesterday's win, especially with the defense looking the way they did. And all week, all we said is they better do this. Mm-hmm. They better do that. Mm-hmm. And they went out there and did it. So, I mean, we can't throw tomatoes at them for doing what we said that they were supposed to do.
How do we react to a dramatically better day for Roquan Smith? Clearly there's the additional element of Teddye Buchanan being inserted next to him. Do we say perhaps this is just what to get the best version of Roquan Smith, you just have to have a better weak side linebacker next to him? Do we maybe dismiss it a little bit and say, yeah, but it was against the Browns. Like, let's see how he looks next week. Like, how do we talk about this like adults?
Well, I think Roquan Smith is one of the more overly analyzed guys on this team. And in large part due to the money that he's making. And when you're making $20+ million as a off-ball linebacker or just doing anything, people are going to look at you with a closer eye. So I understand that to a degree, but I think a lot of the talk around Roquan gets overblown sometimes, to be honest with you. Week one is a struggle when it comes to tackling across the league. It wasn't just a Ravens problem. That's just today's NFL, where these guys don't hit in training camp. They don't play in the preseason. that's just what it is. You got to kind of live with that, and that's the sacrifice that John has decided to live with when he decided to not play his starters in the preseason. He's basically trading early season rust for being healthy. I can't argue with that. But I think Roquan looked great yesterday. I think it was his best game as a Raven. I mean, when you get a defensive touchdown, when you've got 3 tackles for loss in the first half, I mean, when he was as sure of a tackler as I had seen him be in a while, like that's what you want. And I don't care who it's against, to be honest with you. It's the NFL. Like, I get it. It's the Browns, but it is still the NFL. It's a division game. Again, those games, you kind of got to come in there with a little bit of a different mentality. So I'm just hoping he can build on it, because that whole defense will be tested Monday night. But for sure, guys like him on the second level going up against the tight ends that the Lions have, going up against Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, like, they're going to have to tackle in space again.
We know that Kyle Van Noy, according to John Harbaugh, the injury is not long-term, but these are finicky things, and who knows even from week to week what it might mean. Yesterday it meant a lot more snaps from Mike Green. We know that it's not going to mean a reunion with Jadeveon Clowney because he signed with the Cowboys. So if, for example, Kyle Van Noy is out next week, is it just, hey, they're going to need a better version of Mike Green quicker?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, you'll probably, I don't know, maybe David Ajabo gets activated next week. But also, I don't know, because Rasheed Ali is in the concussion protocol. So maybe that activation, Keaton Mitchell might get activated next week. So how many elevations are they going to use? Zaire, well, he's on the practice squad, so that'll be different. But, yeah, I mean, Van Noy is a little worrisome. It's a hamstring. He's up there in age. John said it's not season ending, which can mean anything, so I don't know. I don't know with that one. That's definitely going to be one that hopefully we get more information about today when we meet with John this afternoon. But, yeah, I mean, Mike Green's going to have to grow up fast. That's really what that tells me, and they'll have to lean on some of these other guys like Tavius Robinson, who had a good day yesterday as well. He may need to produce a little more in the pass rush department. Maybe that causes guys like Oweh to step up and be a little more consistent, especially on the big stage on Monday night. So yeah, I mean, it really just puts the pressure on a lot of these younger guys that should have been kind of taking the torch this year anyway to kind of grow up a little faster.
Cordell Woodland from The Fan with us here on GCR. Cordell, no Jair Alexander yesterday. I know John Harbaugh addressed that after the game and said what he always says, Jair is going to play great football for us. And is your thought that this is just a one-week thing? He didn't look right last week. Let's give him another week, and hopefully that gets going. Or is there maybe really a question about what Jair Alexander is at this point in his career and whether he really is even one of your best options?
I still think if he's healthy enough, he is still one of their better options. I mean, watching him in camp, he did look like one of their better corners out there. So I do feel like he can still play. I was still slightly surprised that they inactivated him yesterday, even though, I knew that there was a pretty good chance that could happen just looking at practice throughout the week and hearing some of the things that were said or some of the things that weren't said throughout the week. But I just figured that maybe the Browns game would be a good game to kind of go out there and clean some things up, get in a little bit of a rhythm against a team that has a limited passing attack. The ball's going to stay in front of them. And the challenge could have been just to tackle. He struggled, to even guard guys in space, and just tackling guys one-on-one, that's going to be tough. So I just thought that they'd maybe get his feet wet a little bit more against the Browns, considering you got the Lions, you've got the Chiefs, you got the Texans. I mean, these are teams that are going to spread the ball around at times. So I don't know. I mean, are they just going to throw him back out there against Detroit and see what happens? I can't call it like that. I think I think it really is a fluid situation. I think there will be times where it's like yesterday where he's inactive, and they'll give him some run. Again, maybe it will be Monday night to see if he's cleaned things up a little bit. But if he looks the same as he did in Buffalo, it would not shock me if we continue to see him back on the inactive list.
It's interesting. It's very interesting how they handle that moving forward. And really, again, trying to figure out exactly what Jair Alexander is. And because there's a part of me, Cordell, that says, like, if you're waiting for Jair Alexander to be perfectly healthy, is that day ever going to come at this point in his life?
No, I mean, that's a fair question. And then it's like, what did they expect? John the other day said that they expected to deal with this, but did they really? And it's not like they got him for top dollar. They didn't. So, I understand that to where it's like, you can afford to do this because it's not like you're paying at a premium and you got this guy as a healthy scratch. But still, you brought him here to play. You brought him here to make a difference on his defense, and I would hope that you brought him in with the idea that he wasn't going to be the healthiest guy all the time. It wasn't going to look the cleanest, especially at the start of the year where he missed the second half of camp. So yeah, I do think he does need the opportunity to work some of this rest off. Unfortunately, though, the season's here, and their schedule is tough enough to where it does bear the question, does he help them if he's out there on a weekly basis?
What do you make of I can't escape that I know it doesn't matter, but the sequence before the half, I am still befuddled by 24 hours later, Cordell. Like, I cannot believe the Ravens signed up to punt the ball from their own 8-yard line when nothing about their punt operation has been particularly good. And somebody would say, like, Jordan Stout was maybe a little bit better in the first half yesterday, and obviously he actually had a good punt last week, but it was the one that Trenton Simpson couldn't cover. But I can't believe whatever you want to do there. The previous play ended with 2:50 on the clock, the Mark Andrews catch that ultimately was ruled to be a yard short. That the strategy you came up with was one that might end in you punting from your own 8-yard line and them starting on the edge of field goal range because of it is like to me, you are a million times better off just going for it. Like doing what you did against the Chargers last year than signing up to take another 5-yard loss in that spot and punt from the position that you did. It's just big brain stuff that I can't wrap my head around.
No, I mean, without a doubt, watching it in real time, this is why when people do have their issues with John, moments like that is what makes it tough to defend him. Because God forbid this is anybody else but the Browns, and this game does, because I'm not going to lie to you, when that ball went through Marlon Humphrey's hands and Chris Tillman caught that touchdown, I'm just like, watch out. Like, it could happen all over again. It's about to happen
By the
again.
way, I had been wondering what Chris Tillman was doing since he retired from the Orioles. I know you meant Cedric Tillman.
Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman. The C's and the D's.
Yeah.
But it's Cedric Tillman. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just like, is this about to happen again? But the issue with John is he doesn't win on the margins. And at times, it's his decisions or lack of decisions that put this team in bad spots. And that's just one I'm with you. If you're going to go for it, go for it. If you're going to punt the ball. What sense did it make to go out there and, I guess, try to get them to jump off sides? I guess.
Yeah, Cordell, my thought would be go out and do it before the 2-minute warning. Like, again, the previous play ended with 2:50 on the clock. You got a play clock reset because of the confusion about whether or not it was a first down, right? You had 50 seconds there to have either previously communicated to your team, hey, remember, if we get into 4th and short, let's at least go try to – like, that's the type of stuff to me that when you bring up the margins – is absolutely in the margins. That should you should already be aware of that. You lined up for 3rd and 3. There should have already been communication. Hey, if we end up a yard or less short, then we need to get to the line quickly and try to draw them off sides before the 2-minute warning so that we can use the 2-minute warning to go punt.
It was absolutely mind-blowing to me that that's how that went. I just couldn't understand what exactly the mission was.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of sending them back out there to back yourself up? And now you're cutting down the space. You already yourself got the punt block in the game, but just your special teams already isn't the cleanest. I just don't understand why put your team in an unnecessary bad situation. It just didn't make sense to me.
Cordell, fairly quickly here, just Lamar Jackson, as of yesterday, is now the highest-rated passer in NFL history. And it may or may not end up that he's the highest-rated passer in NFL history because these things will change from week to week. But just to you, having seen this young man the entire time and everything that he dealt with, what do you say about the fact that we're now talking about, we've gone from can Lamar Jackson throw the ball to, no, he's the highest-rated passer in the history of the game.
Yeah, I mean, anybody outside of him, his mom, or any other family member that said that they knew Lamar would be this good, they're lying. Because I was as big of a Lamar campaigner as anybody as he's entering the draft, and I knew Lamar would be good. We continue to break through new stratospheres of just how good Lamar Jackson is. I think people underestimate his work ethic. I think people underestimate how smart he is, how talented he is, and just his desire to really want to be great. His game, he makes it look so easy, and at times it's easy to take what he does for granted because he can be so efficient. His efficiency is definitely something people take for granted in a league where people throw the ball all over the place, and he doesn't throw it a lot, but when he does, it's just money. It's money every time. I don't know. He is a prime example of why football is an ultimate team sport, because if it was just about Lamar, he'd have championships, but it takes the entire team, and that's not saying Lamar hasn't been at fault in so much playoff losses. He definitely has, but his greatness is undeniable at this point. The dude can literally do everything.
It's unbelievable, man. It's incredible. All right, at Cordell Woodland, that's how you follow him. And when we hearing you this week? Friday night on the Fan is our new night. Me and Ben Hall on the Fresh Take. So you'll hear me throughout the week on the other shows as well. But Friday night has become our new night. Appreciate you as always, brother. Thank you for taking the time for us. Let's do it again soon. All right.
Yes, sir.
That's our guy, Cordell Woodland, with us here on GCR. Today's show is also brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel, the best atmosphere for every big game day, every big fight night. You can find it at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the 100-foot media wall. Great food and drink specials, just an electric atmosphere, just steps away from the FanDuel Sportsbook. Nowhere better to be for every big game, every big fight than Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Our buddy John in Little Rock. I don't think Qadry was actually challenging. I think he was having fun. I hope he was having fun. And by the way, the Maryland-Wisconsin game is on NBC. I don't know why the ESPN site hasn't updated it, but Maryland-Wisconsin is on NBC at noon this Saturday. I don't think NBC usually does a noon kickoff.
No,
because they normally do Notre Dame at 3:30
and Premier League.
And then they normally do Premier League and then a Big Ten game at night. But for whatever reason this week, it's Maryland-Wisconsin on NBC at noon this Saturday. Our next guest was on the call yesterday for CBS, as the Ravens did indeed get that bounce-back win over the Browns. You, of course, also hear him on Westwood One from time to time, his work with the Phillies. He's Tom McCarthy, and he's with us this morning here on GCR. Tom, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning. We really appreciate it.
But yeah, no problem. I made it out to Los Angeles, so I'm hoping to have a Phillies clinching tonight. So,
man, you are the hardest working man in show business. Well, thank you for squeezing us in. Tom, I just wonder, from your perspective, like it's so easy, and hey, so you beat the Browns, great, whatever, they're the Browns, nobody cares, right? Like, how this works for fan bases. What you actually saw from the Ravens yesterday, beyond who their opponent was, what maybe impressed you most as they bounce back from a tough Week 1 loss?
I actually think the Browns defensively are a really good team. So the fact that you're able to put points up against them like that, I think is really important moving forward. But the other part of it too is that the special teams reared their heads, and I think that's always important. So I think there's a lot of optimism. Yeah, obviously you'd love to run the ball a little bit more, but there's no doubt that was not part of the game plan to have Lamar run. But Derek was, he was slowed up. I mean, they had a game plan against him. They wanted to stop him as much as they possibly could. But then it did open up other things. So I do think that I just think it's really hard to win in the National Football League. So when you do it and you do it to this level, then you've got something to build on moving forward. So, and I also thought that, their defense played really well. The Ravens defense played really well. I know they lost some pieces yesterday, but I still think that their defense played really well yesterday.
To your point, I thought, if it wasn't Myles Garrett, and I think it was Myles Garrett, but Roquan Smith might have been the best player on the field yesterday. And
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. I thought his motor was going from start to finish. I thought he harassed the heck out of Joe Flacco. But yeah, I really do. And I also thought Robinson, I do think he's pretty special. I think he's got a chance to be really good. I know he had the sack yesterday and it forced the fumble, but I still think he's got a chance to be a really good player in the National Football League.
And they could use more of him, to your point, as it looks like they might be without Kyle Van Noy for a little bit here. We will see how that plays out. Tom, we were just talking about this with our buddy Cordell Woodland. Lamar Jackson is now the highest-rated passer in NFL history, which, that could exist for a week, right? It might be that next week, he loses percentage points. Who knows where this goes? But I do still think that we don't tell the story enough of how amazing this is, that someone that was so scrutinized and so maligned by many is now standing at the moment as the highest-rated passer in the history of the game. He has other things to prove, and, he'll tell you none of this matters. He's got to win a championship, and a lot of people feel the same way. But I do think that we should pause and reflect on just truly how amazing that really is.
And considering where he was in college, now he did throw for a lot of yards in college, but I did not anticipate that he would be this efficient a passer when he was playing at Louisville. I just didn't. I did one of his games on Westwood 1, and it was a fairly dominant game, but I still didn't think that he would be able to have this great a success passing the football. He certainly had a passing arm, but, just to be this efficient. So, yeah, I agree. And he's right. I mean, he does have to win a championship, just like Josh Allen has to win a championship to sort of legitimize who they are. It doesn't make them, non-Hall of Famers. But I think just for their legacy, that's the next piece for both of those guys. And I think for Lamar, being a two-time MVP, it's even more important for him to lead his team to a Super Bowl championship. They've had one since Flacco, with Flacco, 2 overall, but 1, during this regime. So, some people might look at that and say, hey, they gotta be able to finish it off. And I agree with him. But I do think it is time to pause a little bit and think about, man, this is a pretty special dude that we got out here. And he's been pretty durable. There's no doubt in a league where you better have a good backup quarterback. They haven't really had to lean on that as much as other teams like the Bengals.
Yeah, perhaps, right. Yeah, to your point, a team that's going through it again this season. Tom McCarthy with us here on GCR. Tom, obviously, when I use the word concern, I recognize that you don't personally care about whether or not the Ravens win or lose football games. Your job is just to broadcast them. But if I posed it that way and said, hey, in watching them, if there are things that maybe concern you in the context of them attempting to win a Super Bowl, what might those things be?
Well, if Derrick Henry gets stopped like he did yesterday, that would be a concern to me. And I don't think he's going to. Obviously he fumbled the one ball, but it was recovered by the Ravens. So that's 2 fumbles in the last 2 weeks, which is pretty odd for him. I guess that would be the only thing, but I can't see this being consistent. I think they're pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
I would love to see Isaiah Likely come back to give that dual threat at tight end again.
Yep.
And you wouldn't mind seeing some more passes to the tight end. But beyond that, I do think that they're pretty solid. They just have to finish. I mean, that's the thing. They should be 2-0. They're not. They've already passed the Bills game at this point. But I think they've proven what they can do against a high-powered offense like Buffalo. That may be a little bit of the concern, is that can they slow teams like that down consistently? But I do believe that they will continue to get better defensively and, hopefully overcome the injury that I think might be a little bit more difficult to overcome than people think.
It's interesting because you brought up Tavius Robinson, but I do still think that there is a question here about whether or not they have enough records.
No doubt.
Right? Like true game changers.
No doubt.
In the context of, winning a Super Bowl might require you to go through, well, maybe not Burrow at the moment, we'll see, but Mahomes, Allen, like, do you have enough game changers up front that if that's the difference that you can win a Super Bowl going that route?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, they have to develop. There's no doubt about that. And, and there's not anything really out there that they can say, we'll just sign this guy.
Right.
We'll sign Clowney, who's going to the Cowboys now. But he's not the player he used to be anyway. But, there's a Darius Smith, but he's going to the Eagles. So, the pressure on the quarterback could be a really important thing. I mean, I do think they did that yesterday. Now, he's a slower quarterback. There's no doubt.
No doubt.
Flacco is a slower quarterback, so it might be a little easier to do it against him. But that might be a piece where it's sort of you're delusional when you watch yesterday's game because it's a very different quarterback than what the upper echelon quarterbacks offer now.
What'd you make of that scene? Just the way that the fans respond. And I know you guys pointed out on the broadcast that, like, it was a shame, the timing of the injury, right? But, like...
It was funny because we were expecting something.
Yeah.
And then I'm, like, talking, thinking, I don't really sense anything.
Right.
And I asked Ross the question, and Ross looked at me, and I was like, well, I should have just let it happen, but I thought it was better than... Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's been gone for a little while. They do appreciate him. There's no doubt. It's hard. In baseball, we have guys come back. Let's say Chase Utley comes back to the Philly, when he played for the Dodgers, or Jimmy Rollins comes back. There's a moment where you can do something. There's really not that moment you can do something in the National Football League. I mean, I go back to... and I know I hate to keep using baseball as the analogy, but look at the other night. Jacob deGrom goes back to New York. The Mets are down 6-0 in the bottom of the first inning when he comes out for the first time at Citi Field since he was, signed with the Rangers. And they start playing all this nightclub music, thinking that there's going to be this huge reception. And then there was nothing. And, I don't know. I just think I do think that there's been a lot of success for the Ravens since Joe left, and I don't think he was he was really appreciative of coming back, but I don't know what I expected. I really don't know what I expected. I don't think I expected a whole lot.
Well, I think the scene afterwards of he and Lamar hugging, that was really cool,
yep.
Right? Like, I thought that was that, and Lamar sort of like resting his head on his shoulders, like it kind of went beyond like just, your typical hug. It really felt like there was something very genuine there that I think was very cool to a lot of people.
I agree with that. I think that was probably listen, I've known Joe for a long time.
Yep.
You guys have known him for a long time. This stuff doesn't really faze him.
No.
And I think he just liked the fact that his family was able to come down and see him. And, he loved seeing, Dennis Pitta and, Todd Heap before the game and all his other teammates just to kind of have a moment with those guys too.
All right, why might it be different for the Phillies in the postseason this year, Tom?
Really good question. You guys, you need a lot of luck to win a championship. I think the seasoning that they have will make them better offensively. But pitching-wise, there's still a little concern about whether they have enough pitching now, which has not always been the concern. But because of the injury to Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, who has not pitched very well, that to me would be the concern. But I think offensively, they can probably hit their way through a championship.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Schwarber might be hitting another home run right now as we speak. You're probably
right
about that.
It could be.
Tom McCarthy, I know you're a busy man. Really, do you have a football game this week?
Yeah, I'm in Tennessee. Ross and I and Amanda Balionis are in Tennessee for the Colts, the red-hot Colts, who have not punted a football in the first 2 weeks of the season.
It's crazy. There's a lot of luck involved with that. But we appreciate you taking the time for us this morning. Thank you so much for doing this, and look forward to talking to you again as the season goes on.
You got it. Have a good day, guys.
Tom McCarthy from CBS with us here on GCR after he called the game yesterday. Yeah. I guess we can go ahead and do Picks Recap right now. Picks Recap brought to you. I even had a decent week, but that one in particular, we got to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was great.
Yeah, was it?
I needed that.
God. It went from me having a really good week to just having an okay week. Picks Recap is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. I told you I played tennis last night. John Proctor and I played tennis. We played singles last night, so there was a little more running involved than usual. And that's not fair to John. Don't do it.
Oh, it's not fair to
John. You know, I've played more tennis in my life than John has. I should be beating John. So I'm not.
Right.
There's no. Okay. This isn't like hell yeah, suck it, Proctor.
You better hope he never
There's
wins.
things that if we compete in, I'm very happy. When we compete in Can Jam, I'm happy to kick Proctor's ass because we're on level playing field. We're not on level playing field when
I
it
don't
comes
know.
to
I think
tennis.
you cheat a little bit.
What, in Can Jam? How do I cheat?
I don't know what you are.
I couldn't even see straight.
Yeah, something is not. I don't know.
There was a point when
there's something that's not
during
even about when we play Can Jam.
What do you mean it's not even?
I don't know. You're doing something. There's like some voodoo in your yard that
what
like.
Are you talking
there's like magnets.
about?
I think.
It is wild to me.
Because
like when it's funny. I make jokes about how like I of course I'm good at games that involve throwing frisbees. I'm a white, right? Like of course I would be. The truth is I'm not very good at frisbee golf because I don't have a good hammer throw. Like and I just know how to flatly throw a frisbee exactly the way that you know how to need to flatly throw a frisbee. Like I'll just be on Friday night, for example, my wife's stepmother. Is that my stepmother-in-law? I guess my stepmother-in-law, right?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I think that's what we would call that. She had us over to her house for a bonfire or a fire, right? And the boys brought a glow-in-the-dark frisbee, and they couldn't believe how I could just throw it flat and straight. Like they're like, "How does that work?" I'm like, "It's my voodoo, man. Like that's the one thing I got. That and Pop-A-Shot basketball. Like those are the skills that I have." I wish I had a skill for something good. I wish I had like something that could help me in my life. But I've got flat, straight frisbee throwing and Pop-A-Shot basketball. Those are the two things that I have. But yeah, so we played tennis last night, played singles, did a lot of running, and typically in the past when I would play Sunday night tennis, I would wake up on Monday morning and I would not be able to move. That's just not the case today. I'm good. I'm going to go to the gym later. Like, I'm fine. And that has a lot to do with the fact that I got on these peptide proteins from Game Day Men's Health. It just has allowed me to recover and not feel as sluggish and as run down as I have in the past. So I'm not telling you that it's a miracle or they've saved my life or that I'm even in perfect health. I'm just telling you that in this area, it's been a major benefit to me and can be for you as well. We're men of a certain age. We go through these things. It also might be that you're legitimately low T. I thought I might be. I got a complimentary testosterone test. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com to sign up. I was good. But I still felt sluggish and just not like myself. And that's what peptides have done to really benefit me. I think John, in fact, complained that it was the peptides that was the reason why I did bagel him in one of the sets that we played last night. I think he suggested that might have something to do with the peptides. But I'm telling you, worth the call. Yeah, John, how many pounds are you down now?
Whoa.
John Colson.
Wow.
He didn't go in there for testosterone. John Colson said, "I'm dealing with."
Hit the show again.
I'm dealing with being fat.
That's all right.
John, we missed the show. Do it again.
Yeah, show it off for everybody. Yeah, right. But John works out. He's a man. Despite that, he's an even elevated age than I am. But you're still you're still active. You're still doing all those things, and you just realize, like, what the hell, man?
I couldn't, dude. I was dieting and I couldn't lose weight.
It's infuriating. I go to the gym every day, and I'm dealing with that. And it might be the next thing that I talk to them about at Game Day Men's Health, because your metabolism changes as you get older.
Now I'm on a roll. I think I want to get down to like 78 pounds. I'm thinking Nadia Comaneci.
I don't think that's. I think maybe not that. I think, but 16 pounds. 16 pounds in how much time?
It's been 10 weeks.
And this is shots that you're taking. You're taking.
But I don't even. It's a very low dosage, and all it really does is keep my appetite in control. I'm not taking a hardcore dose of this stuff. No. It's just enough that, like, I had dinner last night out with some people. I had an entree. I didn't finish it totally. I took some home, and I had a salad before it. And
I had the opposite experience yesterday. I realized I had leftover crabs from my birthday, and this was like the end. Like, if I didn't do it yesterday, they were done. So after our post game show, I made some cream of crab soup.
Oh.
And then my family had gone to my nephew's first birthday party yesterday.
Happy birthday, your nephew.
So, happy birthday, TJ. Well, his birthday was in August. I don't know why it was yesterday. And during the middle of a Ravens game. What the hell are we doing? I love you, my sister and her, Laura, Joe, love you guys.
Do you?
But what the hell? Like, what is that? I would have loved to have been at my nephew's birthday party. That would have been great. But they had eaten and everything. So they were like, well, we don't need any soup. We're good. So I'm just sitting there with this pot of soup. And, like, again, the crab meat is 7 days old. So I'm not saving it.
No, you got to.
This is the end. This is the last.
So what's wrong? Well, cream of crab soup's not.
It's not. It's not healthy. And I consumed the entire pot.
Oh.
Because you don't want to throw away crab meat.
I might have had
like
6 orange crushes yesterday, so that probably didn't help the diet
that might even it out in the end. But legitimately, I just
only
said,
6?
Well, I had half the pot. Like, it was a bowl.
It's a long day.
I had the pot was 2 bowls.
Okay.
So I had a bowl. And I'm like, I'm good.
And then you had the other bowl.
And then I got home from tennis, and I just realized, like, nobody else ate any soup. I'm going to have to throw it away.
And you justified it to yourself because you had just played 2
played
hours of tennis.
Right, yeah.
So you're like, I can eat this.
I've earned another bowl of cream of crab soup.
I think that's fair.
I threw some.
You don't drink.
I threw some diced jalapenos in the second bowl.
I just made hot sauce for the first time ever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My son asked if we could make hot sauce together, so I might look into doing that.
A peach habanero hot sauce.
That sounds good.
I'd be happy to bring some in if you'd like to.
I need to remind. This started by talking about.
So go lose weight, by the way, at Game Day Men's Health.
Or if you're dealing with performance issues in the bedroom, just stuff that we deal with as men of a certain age. Game Day Men's Health. Owings Mills.
You're sore.
443-264-4454. Columbia, 443-266-3505. Frederick, 240-931-3716.
I may just start taking all their stuff. I'm serious.
You see, you become the perfect man.
Because I'm achy.
This is the man I've always wanted to be.
Just moved in with my girlfriend a few months ago. I think I need
Don't
to
want her to have second thoughts. I
might just go to him and say, look, just
fix me.
Just give me everything you have.
Give me the whole menu, all of it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys.
Picks recap from the weekend. Yeah, if we start, I guess we would have started on Thursday night, but we'll start with the college games. Navy got off to a really slow start against Tulsa on Saturday night. I was watching Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and then I flipped over to Navy Tulsa at one point, and I said, what the hell is going on here? They turned the ball over 3 times.
Jeez.
It was that. Yeah, you weren't watching. You had no idea. They fell behind by a couple of scores. You're like, yo, what the F is happening here? But
they're Navy.
They got it figured out. They got it figured out. And they end up rolling to a 42-23 win, so they do get the cover in that one, which is like the only game that Jeremy Kahn got wrong all week. That wasn't the only one, but he had the best week of everybody, and despite the fact that
are we finally getting hustled by this professional gambler?
It might be the case. Yeah, he, John, and Ryan were all on Tulsa there. Georgia, Tennessee. Admittedly, I was doing the math on because I don't care which team wins. But I did care about getting this right.
Right.
So when Tennessee's lining up for the game-winning field goal, I am sort of high-fiving. I'm like, God, this isn't bad.
Nothing that can go wrong here for you?
Of course, they missed the field goal at the end of regulation, and then I'm starting to do the math, right? Like, could this go wrong? And I realized the only way it can go wrong is if Georgia gets the ball first. So I could have never been more excited than when Georgia wins the coin toss and they're taking the ball second in overtime. Because what that means is if Tennessee gets a field goal, they're getting a touchdown. If Tennessee doesn't score, they don't need to get a touchdown. They can just kick the field goal. And they're not kicking the extra point if Tennessee scores first because the game's already over. So Georgia wins by 3, Tennessee with a statement cover. Well done, boys. Well done.
You and your Vols.
Myself, Jeremy, James Revere, and John in Little Rock were on Tennessee. Notre Dame had the goofy extra point fiasco where they lose because they get a go-ahead touchdown, but they missed the extra point. It doesn't matter for us because they were 6.5 point, or what were they? They were 6.5 point favorites. So they were going to need to get a stop.
Yeah, my friend had to talk me out of hunting down the holder from Notre Dame on Instagram, sending him some messages.
Yeah, I said missed the extra point, but they botched the extra point.
Yeah,
they didn't even try it. He tossed the ball towards the end zone after. So it wouldn't have mattered for us because
I had several Notre Dame money lines that I was dealing with.
Oh,
yeah,
that's rough. That's rough.
I didn't see that outcome happening.
They lose at home by 1. Not a great sign for Notre Dame. Already 2 losses on the young season. God, they're gonna have to. The response to this is next year's playoff is going to be 40 teams, so they can make sure they get Notre Dame in. How many games can they lose for us to still put them in? Texas A&M backers were Kyle and Ryan Chell, who gets basically nothing right ever, but happened to be on that. Green Bay, Washington, for some reason, James Revere and Kyle were on Washington, not recognizing that Green Bay is like
they're going to win the Super Bowl.
They're maybe going to go undefeated. I don't know. They might be the best team in the history of football. So Green Bay wins that one. Although there was some danger for a backdoor cover at the end because it was only 3.5 points. There was some danger there, but that gets snuffed out. A lone wolf winner.
Wow, for Jeremy Kahn.
The Seahawks, in part because Caleb Johnson doesn't understand how to football.
I still don't know what happened there. It was did he touch it?
It doesn't matter if he touched it or if the ball bounces in the landing zone inside that.
But if it had gone through the end of the end zone,
if it had gone into the end zone without being touched.
No, like through the end zone.
Oh,
like
through
out
the
of
end zone.
To the back line.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Or is it
that part? I don't know.
Is it a touchback to the Seattle?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
No, it can't. There's no way it can be a touchback to Seattle.
But the landing zone does matter here.
Yeah.
But I guess if you don't have the opportunity to go get the ball, I guess that's the answer.
So, the only thing I'm trying to think is he thought it had enough juice that it was going to skip and then go through the end line.
There's no defense of it. There's no defense of Caleb Johnson.
You're right.
There's no defense of this dude. Like, he thought he was in college. And so, by the way, it also looks like he might have touched the ball. It might have touched the ball. As other people pointed out, like none of his teammates going back to do anything in that moment. Like all of it is goofy, but that's the turning point. And it was a 17-14 game at that point. I get a little nervous when we do this. Courtesy of Fox, 17-14 game at that point. It turns into 7 points for the Seahawks. I also guess that it doesn't this isn't like the punt thing with Trenton Simpson because it definitely appears as though momentum carried him
right. Yeah.
To the end line.
So how is the Mark Andrews?
Stop. We've played way too much.
No, this isn't playing.
Okay, thank God. All right, thank God. I get very nervous.
I know.
What is your
the Mark Andrews? Why didn't his touchdown?
Because the argument is that he's got to go. He's going to the ground. You've got to complete the catch to the ground. If he's just standing there, right?
So because this guy had the ball covered up for
sorry. Mark Andrews was the football move. That he didn't complete the catch.
because
he had 2 feet, but
sure.
he didn't turn or make a football move. Of course, which you wouldn't do because you're in the end zone. You're not trying to get upfield. But that's in order to complete the catch, you have to make a football move. So I actually agreed with that call.
I mean, yeah, I think I did too. But then also, so this guy's able to have the ball possessed for 0.1 seconds and then roll out of the end zone.
Apparently, it's a different rule on a kickoff than it is on a punt. Like the wording, I haven't gone into the wording because it doesn't affect us.
But no, like, even let's say you got a guy that's running, it's an 80-yard touchdown, but the guy drops it at the 1-yard line, and then a guy falls on the football for 0.1 second, like that. That would still count as a possession, right?
Presumably. I'd have to dive into the way these things are worded. The way the rule is worded on a punt is if your momentum carries you to the goal line in your action, then it's a touchback. No matter where the ball was, no matter if your momentum. I don't know what the wording is on those to say if the wording is the same, if the wording is if your momentum carries you to the back line, then they got the call wrong, right? But the wording clearly, I'm guessing, is not that, based on the fact that that was a touchdown. Anyway, Jeremy Conn, the only one on Seattle. They not only cover, they win outright in Pittsburgh. Just a real shame for the Steelers. Real shame to lose the DK Metcalf revenge game. Got to feel for them. The Denver-Indianapolis thing is maybe the goofiest thing that's ever happened in the history of football.
This is our Colts. This is our team. I don't know what the words are. We bleed blue.
There was the Broncos are up by 2. Oh, is it 28-26?
Yeah, 28-26.
They are lining up for a 40-yard field goal. Indoors! That would put them up by 5. Now, there's obviously still the possibility the Colts go down and score a touchdown. That's still in play, but they'd go up by 5. And Will Lutz...
I believe they call him Will Klutz.
Jesus. Just farts all over himself. But all good. All good. Because on the other end, despite the fact that the Colts put a little drive together, they lose some yards, and now...
Yeah, they not try.
I have no idea what was going on there.
They went Harbaugh thought they were conservative.
Spencer Schrader now has to line up for a 60-yard field goal if they're going to win the game.
And his career long was 48?
Yeah.
It was that day.
Does not make it. Misses it. It never really had a chance.
I think it had the leg, didn't it?
I think it had the
But it was wide.
leg.
It was never
on
online.
It was never even close. So, game over. All's well that ends well. Big win for Glenn. Needed that one.
But wait a minute. The refs bet on the Colts.
How do you... They call leverage 15-yard penalty.
15 yards.
15-yard penalty.
If it was 5 yards, it'd be all right, this is...
Well, and the crazy part to me is that, how is that? It's a 60-yard kick. How are you not saying, whatever you do...
Don't...
We only try so hard to block this kick.
It's
got to come in as a lone line drive anyway if it's going to have a chance of being good. It's a 60-yard kick.
Unless it's Brandon Aubrey.
Yes, who, of course, made the 64-yarder to force overtime.
With room to spare, yeah.
Unreal, man. I mean, that is bad beat, bad beat, bad beat, bad beat. Although the Penn State-Villanova thing takes the cake this week. That's the worst
incredible.
beat in football history. Yeah. So in the end, Indianapolis wins. They're 2-0. Andrew Steck, Griffin, Jeremy Conn, James, Joe, they steal a point.
Don't go against Indiana Jones, baby.
Yeah, sure. The Eagle. And speaking of crazy moments, if the Eagles Chiefs thing, Chiefs look like doo-doo, but finally get things going in the second half. They are marching into the end zone, trailing 13-10 with a chance to take the lead, and they've got Travis Kelce on the goal line, and Travis Kelce
does his Ravens
who was it yesterday? It was Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey.
Was it Marlon?
Yeah, it was Marlon.
It was Marlon.
Hit Marlon in the hands and just went, here you go.
Chris Tillman does his Marlon Humphrey impression, says, I could catch this ball, or I could give it to the Eagles. And he chose the latter, which was a strange decision from Travis Kelce. Eagles end up getting points the other way, and they hold on for a 20-17 victory. So that's points for James Revere, Joe Serpico, John Proctor, and KZ. Last night's game, utterly unwatchable. I mean, just a miserable football game. But a lot of people got drunk on one quarter of J.J. McCarthy, and I didn't fully get that. The Falcons actually drubbed the Vikings in the end, although it wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
Even that is.
Yeah, but it was
5 field goals.
Yeah, but it was never. They were definitely
right. I mean, yeah, they did what they had to do.
It's not just they did what they had to do. They were in every facet of the game the better team. They just weren't scoring touchdowns until the last one, fourth quarter. Anyway, myself and Jeremy.
Did you see the clip?
Paul Valley, the only ones on Atlanta.
The kicker, because they had just signed him last week or something.
Parker Romo. After the game, they said, he was like, "Do you even know who these guys are?" And he was standing with Bijan and Leonard Floyd. Those are their players of the game. Okay, sure. From a courtesy, dude, I just never know. Courtesy of NBC. So Parker Romo signed on Saturday to replace Younghoe Koo.
Let's keep going.
And I know you're learning your teammates' names. You know their names, right?
I know Bijan.
This is Leonard Floyd over here. You guys want it? Nice to meet you.
That is awkward.
Back to you guys.
That is so awkward. God, that is so uncomfortable. But anyway, the Falcons win comfortably, and they were dogs, so we get those points. And then the Ravens obviously handled the Browns comfortably. It was 11.5. They had no problem with that. And everybody except Ryan, Kyle, KZ, and John Little Rock, who I hope learned their lesson.
I don't know. I think John always picks against the Ravens.
Does he?
John Little
Rock
does.
bit.
Yeah.
So for the week, it was a rough week. Nobody was better than 6-3. Jeremy went 6-3, so he now is in first place by himself, and we may be getting hustled after letting him in this league and him losing the first year, and then not really overwhelming us last year. I'm starting to think that maybe this was a long game for Jeremy Kahn, and now it's just about taking our money. So Jeremy goes 6-3. He's 2 games in front of Andrew Stecca, and then Griffin, Joe, and James are all 3 games back. I'm currently 5 games back, so I'm equally close to the top as I am to the bottom of the table, which doesn't seem right. Oh, because Jeremy extended the lead, right? I was like, I feel like that's where I was last week, and I was better than Paul Valley, but I get it. He extended the lead at the top of the table, and Paul extended the deficit. So I'm 5 games back. Then Kyle, John Proctor, and KZ 6 games back. John and Little Rock 7 games back, only 3 games clear of the bottom of the table. Ryan Chell just 1 game clear after a 2-7 week, while Paul Valley had a
much needed 4-5.
Impressive 4-5. Big statement 4-5 week. And so Paul Valley is now 6-18 on the year, but back within 1 game of avoiding the bottom of the table. That's the reality after picks this week. Now, to Pats on the Ass. And you might see we have a board. We have a AI-generated
colors
logo that's in blue. And we have a lot of blue that's going up. I need some pins, I guess. I need some push pins. What happened? We guess we can take the pictures down off the baseball one. We don't need that any longer. We will put 3 up and 3 down up at glennclarkradio.com a little bit later on today. I don't even remember who it was for me.
You know number 1 for sure. I don't know who did
on the down list. I definitely
he was my
had
number
Cano number 1 for sure. He was number 1 on my down
he
list.
Was
I don't
remember.
down.
Wells and Bradish were good.
They were. Hang on a second. I'll tell you who it was. Okay. My 3 up were Beavers was 3, Holiday 2, Wells was 1. And then my down list was Cowser 3, Rivera 2, and Cano 1.
And then mine were Beavers, Wells, and Bradish. And then I had Basayo as number 3, and Cowser and Cano. The catcher's interference on Saturday night. Nobody was really good offensively. So.
All right. I just realized that I don't know who everybody is. I just realized
this will be a fun. This will be a fun game to play.
That's Teddie. That's Jake.
Don't spoil. You're spoiling it.
I'm fine.
You're spoiling our
Pats on the Ass brought to you this week by the Maryland 5-Star. Get your tickets right now, maryland5star.us, as we're just a couple of weeks away from the return of the Maryland 5-Star to Fair Hill in Cecil County. All right, you know the rules. Pick 5 Ravens. 2 must be offensive players. 2 must be defensive players. The 5th can be another offensive player, another defensive player, a special teams player, or a coach. Rank them 5-1, with number 1 being your man of the match. My apologies to a couple of receivers who didn't make the list for me this week. This was
maybe they should have just been better.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. This was just a tough week. I thought there were maybe 10 guys that were worthy. Because I also didn't have Nate Wiggins on my list. I didn't have Tavius on my list, who I think was worthy of consideration.
Wallace was pretty good.
Wallace was helpful.
He recovered the fumble. Or wait,
I don't even know
did he recover the Derrick Henry fumble, or they ended up crediting that to someone else?
I don't remember who they credited it to.
I think initially it looked like it was Wallace, and then he catches the touchdown the next play. So.
My number 5 is Jake Hummel, who of course we'll get to tomorrow when we do 5 plays. But I think you know what number 1 is going to be, as it was a turning point. Now I can't, you can only be so high on the list when you make one play, but it was a very important one play. So Jake Hummel will be number 5. This is going to be awkward for me, trying to pin all these up on this board. I realize we should have like a Vanna White type that can come in here and do this. We also need to put our names up there so people realize whose list is whose. So we'll get there eventually. But this is progress. This is progress. Also, you'll see blue. Everybody's wearing blue.
Everyone's on the Giants this week.
I don't know what's going on with our printer.
Yeah.
But Hummel's 5.
Jake Hummel is my number 5 as well. I mean, before the blocked punt, there was there was nothing. You can make him a little higher because, just like that. And then, tell me how to do my job. Okay, sure. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing going on. You just
I've been push pinning for years.
Do we need 2 pins per a player? Is that? I feel like that just in the interest of time, we'd like.
Would you settle down over there?
Let
me do my job, for God's sakes.
Okay.
You have anything else to say about Jake Hummel?
Should you just put? Yeah, I do. Should you put the mic just in the stand then? Because you keep coming back to the stand.
Well, I understand, but I want to be able to do both things. This is good. You're right. I'll put the mic in the stand.
Yeah. Oh, careful! You're gonna knock down the pins, and then we have
settle
pins
down.
Everywhere.
God.
Yeah, I mean, he was brought in specifically to make an impact on special teams, and that is exactly what he did. I mean, they had no offense in the first half. Without him without this block punt, it is likely 3-3 going into halftime. I mean, it was just, again, as like we'll get to it tomorrow, but probably the biggest play of the game.
My number 4 is Zay
Jake
Flowers.
Number 5.
Look, I feel bad for DeAndre Hopkins and Tez Walker, who both made remarkable plays, but Zay is just sort of the go-to offensively right now. 7 catches, 75 yards. He's just their most reliable offensive weapon. And so while, yes, others were more spectacular yesterday, Zay Flowers was more consistent, and so Zay Flowers gets the number 4 spot on the list.
Zay's going to be higher on my list. I guess I'll talk about that then. But Nate Wiggins will be my number 4. The interception obviously makes it easy for him to stand out, at least for me defensively. But it was a great day, especially just given how well he handled Judy, and all the extracurriculars with Jerry Judy. What? You're trying
realizing who's who.
You don't know who's who?
Yeah, I'm realizing.
Let's
this
go
is
ahead and make a
Nate,
decision.
right? And that's Teddy, right?
Are you serious? Or?
Yeah.
No, that's definitely the other way around. I know. Okay. But no one else in the secondary really started. Like Marlon obviously had issues with dropping that interception that turned into a touchdown, and then Awuzie did struggle with the few times that Judy did make some plays. It was on Awuzie. He had 3 pass breakups. There was a tackle for loss as well. On a quick tackle. Like he's been a very good tackler, which is what they said about him coming out of college, and the interception makes it easy as well. So Nate Wiggins was my number 4.
My number 3 is Teddye Buchanan, who, look, man, I don't know how to judge. This is part of the problem is I don't know how to judge what we saw from the inside linebacker position yesterday, because some of it has to do with the Browns, but clearly some of it has to do with the change that they made. And Teddye Buchanan was active early and was impactful, and you got literally the best version of the guy that's next to him that you've seen in some time, and I can't ignore that. And so all of that is the reason why Teddye Buchanan is number 3 on my list.
No Teddye Buchanan on my list, and then just I think he was great. I think he was great as well. I think a lot of it was just kind of we didn't really see him a lot, which was an improvement over how some of the inside linebacker play had been over the last season with Trenton Simpson, kind of bouncing off guys and just not that much of a factor, especially in coverage. But yeah, Buchanan had a good game. I'm excited. It's very exciting to see what he'll be able to do moving forward. My number 3, just because I don't know, I thought there were 2 players that stood out far more than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was my number 3. It was one of the quietest 4 touchdown, no interception, just really, really stellar games. I thought he could have ran more. Like, it was very weird that Lamar was not running a whole lot after the last we had seen him was taking that big hit from Ed Oliver. So it was very strange that Lamar wasn't running very well. Maybe it was just because of the way Ross Tucker was talking as well on the broadcast, but it felt like there were some sacks that he could have kind of got away from at points. And again, that's Myles Garrett chasing him, so maybe I need to factor that in a little bit more as well. All in all, I mean, it was a great day for Lamar Jackson. He didn't have to run at all. But Lamar was my number 3. I saw 2 players that were better.
Yeah, I mean, better, no, but I kind of get it. Lamar's number 2 on my list, and it's funny because there was a part of me that at one point would have said, "Is Lamar even on the list?" But like he finished with 4 touchdowns and no picks. Like it's quiet by Lamar standards, or to your point, like our it's
our
expectations for Lamar are so outrageous that it's almost like we don't know what to do in these situations.
Yeah, because some games it's like, oh yeah, Lamar was the number 1, and then there's other games where it's like Lamar was the number 1, but like all his number 1 games aren't always created
Lamar was number 2.
I went with Roquan as my number 2 here. Roquan was tremendous on defense. I thought Zay Flowers was the best player in the field. Zay Flowers was the number 1 target. He made himself open on every single third down. And I don't know what it is with Mark Andrews that people are the other teams are specifically trying to make Mark Andrews not an option whatsoever. But Zay has evolved into the clear-cut number 1 on this offense. The way he evades certain tackles is unbelievable. I mean, he's one of the most targeted guys in the NFL through the first 2 weeks, and it's extremely noticeable now with Lamar Jackson as the best passer in football that we've ever seen. So
Zay Flowers had a nice game. Roquan Smith was the best
1.
player on the field. Roquan Smith was
number
a
2.
monster. Roquan Smith was everywhere. It's nuts. That's nuts.
It was really good.
Roquan's number 1.
He was the best
bar
defensive
none.
player.
All right, we'll finish putting him up on the board, and we'll get him up at GlennClarkRadio.com. Get me yours as the day goes on. At Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. I might have something for someone who participates today. I might throw you a little surprise today. We will see. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit and two bit to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here as we are winding down for a Monday edition of the program. We didn't, of course, Maryland does beat Towson. They didn't cover, though, right?
Yeah, big
Statement
cover
for the
in the second
Tigers.
quarter, they were down 31-0.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this plus 29 is not
Not feeling so good about that one.
But yeah, they hung on. You know, Locks was trying to help out. I think
it's alma mater. Yeah,
exactly.
You want to take care of the alums, 100%.
Yep. So
right?
he took the foot off the gas and
statement cover.
Got it done for us.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Good job, Tigers.
Maryland's 3-0 and continues their non-conference winning. That's got to be the weirdest thing ever, right? Like in Maryland, I understandably they like put it out there and they pimp it, but you're like, I don't even know what to make of that. Like I have no idea. It's definitely like anomaly as much as it is anything else. But what is the line between anomaly and accomplishment? 18 straight non-conference wins, the longest streak in the country. And it's easy to say like, well, yeah, because you're playing Towson and Northern Illinois. And they would, of course, remind you, right, but it also includes those bowl games that they played. And what was that? Virginia Tech and Auburn and
the other one, NC State.
NC State, right? Like, it's 9 straight wins against non-conference Power 4 teams. Now, how is that? You can't have a non-conference game against your own conference, so it's obviously against the other 3, against teams from the ACC, Big 12, or SEC. They've won 9 straight games. I know there was a Syracuse in there to start the season one year. That probably dates back to those Texas games.
Yeah, so how many games is it?
9 straight
seasons.
No, 9 straight wins against non-conference wins against power conference programs.
Oh, okay. Why are we talking about the stat? Oh, because Towson's a power conference. Okay.
No, I was saying, I said they've won 18 straight overall.
Got it.
Against non-conference. You just zone out.
I do like to zone out.
You hear every third thing that I say.
I do like to zone out.
Yeah, you're very good at that. It's a shiny red ball is really what happens. I used to accuse Ryan Shell of listening to other radio stations.
Wow, you guys were.
I was like, what are they doing on Jack FM right now? What are they playing on? Is it Tom Petty song?
Oh, they're playing Leonard Skinner right now.
Jack
Hold on,
FM
hold
in
on.
there? And then Kyle, it was always, I assumed he was looking up like a Taiwan Walker stat. Like I would look over and be like, what are you doing? So I got to figure out what it is that you're doing when you zone out.
This is what I did see.
You're very excited about Parker Romo figuring out if he's going to be your fantasy fantasy kicker.
Did you see this? We got our boy Cam Bynum once again.
Our boy?
Yeah, well, I guess my boy, apparently.
Okay.
You don't like Cameron Bynum.
Well, he's an Indianapolis Colt, bud.
I know, but the Colts are irrelevant. So
I don't know if you remember. They stole our football team. Not sure if you're.
I wasn't around for that. I did.
Got it.
They let's another new celebration from the book of Cam here. Another interception for Cameron Bynum, and
there you go.
Yeah, this was after last week's that you weren't amused by either. The one where he was on the ground like hitting his back, like he was like running across the ground on his back.
I remember that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it was a good one.
I do remember.
It was a good one.
All right. Very good. Let's get a tidbit. What you got? Tidbit is brought to you today by the print issue of Press Box, still available at anywhere you find Press Box around town. And we're going to be telling you about some new locations where you're going to be finding Press Box moving forward that we're very excited about. Looking forward to sharing that information with you. But you can still get this one wherever it is that you find Press Box around town. You can read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. Derrick Henry on the cover. Great cover story from Bo Smolka. What you got?
This was a good one. UCLA lost as a 15.5-point favorite
at home to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Foster.
Bye.
See,
pal.
Same with
can't fire the quarterback, I guess.
Brent Pry at Virginia Tech after they got hammered
by
at
Old Dominion.
Crushed at home by Old Dominion.
40.5 points. They failed to cover the spread by 40.5 points, their worst ATS margin in any game since 2008. So a tough loss there as they went down 35-10 to the Lobos.
But Nico Iamaleava got all that money. He's good.
So my brother was visiting his friend, and he has a friend that lives in LA, and so they were like, "What are we doing on Friday night?" And they were like, "Oh, there's $8 tickets to the UCLA football game."
Surprised they were $8.
They had to pay like 3-4 times more for parking.
That's about right.
Yeah. But so they
have you ever been to the Rose Bowl before?
No.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that.
It
definitely.
It's worth paying the parking to go to the Rose
And
Bowl.
so he sends me a video at like I don't know what is it like 1:30 a.m. So I wake up Saturday to this video. But apparently they made their way down to the New Mexico fan section, and so all the players are coming over like after the game and celebrating with
like
with his section.
Drew high-fiving Brad Stevens.
So he was a Lobo for the weekend.
There you go. That's fun.
This was a good one for Jacob deGrom, as Tom McCarthy mentioned. Jacob deGrom making his return to Citi Field. 8 runs were scored by the Rangers. Most run support Jacob deGrom has ever received at Citi Field.
How about that? How about that? That is interesting.
And 110 career starts at Citi Field. 8 runs. That's the most run support he's ever got. The Colts, as Tom McCarthy also he spoiled this one. First team ever to not punt.
It's so random, isn't
in the
it?
first 2 games
So
of
random.
a season. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, we'll do the Christian McCaffrey one. First, you got a touchdown catch yesterday. He becomes the 3rd player with 50 rushing touchdowns and 30 touchdown receptions. 3rd player.
3rd player with 50 rushing touchdowns and 30 touchdown receptions.
Correct.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk is one of them.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Not LaDainian Tomlinson.
Man, I was feeling that. I thought I was going 2 for 2 there, and I was actually going to retire at that moment. I was going to walk off into the sunset. How about Curtis Martin?
Not Curtis Martin.
How about man? I can think of a lot of backs that it wasn't, right? Like I can do that really well.
Is it a running back?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a running back.
Yeah, it was a running back.
Pretty sure.
You'll give me more guess. Gotta go way back.
Oh, gotta go way back. Is it Lenny Moore?
It is Lenny Moore.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did not realize that. That's cool.
There you go. Lenny Moore, Christian McCaffrey, and Marshall Faulk.
I mean, he obviously, they caught the ball more, but, I didn't realize that it was that. That's cool.
Yeah. And then, we'll end it with this one then. There are 2 players in the NFL right now through 2 weeks currently lead their team in rushing and receiving yards.
Lead the league.
Lead their team.
Lead their team.
So they're the team's leading rusher and receiver.
Receiving yards this year. And so I'm guessing there's an anomaly here. Like one of them is actually a wide receiver somehow. No. I was about to say it could be a Chief, but because Pat Pacheco's done nothing, but we know that Mahomes is leading them in rushing because he had 120 rushing yards yesterday, which is very weird. What the hell happened to Isaiah Pacheco?
I don't know. I'd like it if he figured it out.
Yeah, it's very sad for me too. Very sad for me. God, leading their team in rushing and receiving yards. Bijan.
Yes, Bijan Robinson is one of the 2.
Other is Jahmyr Gibbs.
Not Jahmyr Gibbs. Monroe had a great game yesterday.
What's that?
Monroe had a great game yesterday.
Okay.
So the Lions found their level.
The other is I don't know.
They traded for a big time receiver this offseason.
They traded,
and he is not their leading receiver.
He's not their leading receiver. Is that the Rams?
Not the Rams.
Did they trade for Devontae Adams?
No,
or
I
they
think they just signed him. Yeah, and they traded Cooper Kupp.
Is it?
Or did they trade? No. Cooper Kupp was also.
It's not the Steelers.
It's not.
It is.
Steelers traded for DK Metcalf,
and
they're leading. Who would be their leading rusher and receiver?
Their leading rusher and receiver is Warren.
Yeah, Jalen Warren is Pittsburgh's leading rusher.
That's
and
only a little bit
receiver.
surprising because they actually have thrown the ball. That's
so Rodgers made a great throw yesterday
Yeah.
that hit like across his body, or I guess it wasn't across his body, but he was rolling to his right and throws it like 50 yards downfield. Hits Pat Freiermuth right in the hands, and he just drops it.
Oh, that's a shame. You're just a real sad for him. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. The Orioles will open up a series in Chicago tonight against the White Sox. For some reason, the White Sox have not announced a starting pitcher. I think they're doing the bit where they're like, does it matter? Why do you care? Kyle Bradish will go for the
Will we
Birds.
see Sean Burke this week? I guess that's
7:40 on Masson 2. It's also the MLB TV free game of the day in the rest of the country.
Roster Resource believes it is Sean Burke.
Oh,
at least their bulk guy.
former
They've used openers before,
Okay.
so he's the bulk guy, it seems like.
Monday Night Football doubleheader on ESPN, Bucks Texans at 7. That one's also on ABC. And then the late game is Chargers Raiders at 10 o'clock. Everything else, go to glennclarkradio.com because we got to go. It's 12. We did a 2-hour show somehow today. That's not supposed to happen.
It's a Monday after football.
I understand, but it wasn't even a particularly eventful Ravens game.
Yeah, because it was eventful elsewhere.
And non-sports.
Celebrity Weakest Link is back. Hosted by Jane Lynch.
I've been waiting for it.
On Fox tonight.
Hell yeah.
Following Name That Tune.
Okay.
And, the Halloween Baking Championship.
Ooh.
Season 13 of Futurama.
Okay.
And, yeah, I guess that's it. Lily James and Jessica Chastain will be on Seth Meyers.
They are plugging. Oh my God! I just saw it too. Oh, Mariah Carey is doing a Christmas residency in Vegas. That's what they're plugging.
And they're just both big
fans.
Okay,
Big
cool.
fans.
So Fallon's gonna be in Detroit tonight for the show. And apparently because everyone saw Fallon and Keegan-Michael Key at the Lions game yesterday. So Keegan-Michael Key will be on Fallon.
All right, we're not doing. You're doing the bit again. You're doing.
Cade Cunningham and Common.
We're not doing this.
So I don't understand Common because Common's from Chicago.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm saying we're not just talking about who's on the late night shows. No one cares. Nobody's watching those.
I know, but it's fun to do. It's fun to do bits.
You can do one.
All right, fine. Just one.
One.
Frank Grillo, the Zach Brown Band, and John Oliver.
You've done 3.
On Kimmel.
You've done 3. We're not doing.
What are they doing on Kimmel?
Stop it. We're not doing.
Zach Brown Band.
Thanks today
John Oliver.
to
and Frank Grillo.
To Cordell. Thanks to Qadry. Thanks to Tom McCarthy. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Aspiration
tab at glennclarkradio.com. Tomorrow, of course, Joe Serpico.
Should they just cut the Clippers out of the NBA?
Probably should. God, it's so embarrassing. Like every time they're like try to push back on something, Pablo Torre's
wait.
here's another document that I found.
Zubik is getting circumvented. Is circumventing the salary cap.
Anyway, Joe Serpico tomorrow, Bo Smolka tomorrow. Is Gary Myers joining us tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow.
Okay, thank God, because I have not had time to read the book. That works out just fine for me.
Apparently, he's on some show called Good Morning America.
Oh, he thinks that's more important.
Hi, Leah.
And Leah's so confused. Like, why are you guys still on? What is going on?
One day she came in last week. We weren't even here. And
right? Anyway, I got a column up at PressBoxOnline.com. Diving into the Cleveland obsession with this and why they're really angry. And I think we all know why. It's because they suck. That's the real reason.
How many playoff appearances do they have?
Yeah, it's not many. Not many. If they did a 30th anniversary celebration, it would be Joe Thomas waving. That would be
Johnny Manziel, bring him back.
No, they would not. It would be Joe Thomas waving,
Freddie Kitchens,
and a Cleveland fan yelling, "You're a factory of sadness."
How many times did they cut to that fan in the bag? The bag.
Oh, that guy
was great.
Awesome, big winner. But that column's up at PressBoxOnline.com. Thanks everybody at PressBox.
Why is Cade Cunningham on Fallon?
Oh, I don't know. All of our great stop it. Would you stop? I'm sick of this. All of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, Navy Football, County Sports Zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, the Costas Inn, Live Casino and Hotel, the Maryland 5-Star, as well as Nick's Fish House. And that's the group. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Birds. Sure, Duke sucks.